WYMT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Justin Case. For the hundreds of people who lost their disability benefits after putting their trust in Eric C. Kahn, they are one step closer to putting the headaches behind them. The redetermination hearings where many of them lost their benefits have been ruled unconstitutional, and the only way that can change is if the U.S. Supreme Court decides to hear the case. So what's next for the nearly 800 former Kahn clients who lost their benefits? Well, I asked that very question today at a meeting being held for former Kahn clients in Prestonsburg. Around 80 people meeting here at the old Floyd County Courthouse. Many of them are former Eric C. Kahn clients who had their disability benefits taken away. And it doesn't stop there. Some here have been forced to return to work with a percentage of their paychecks going back to the government.
I'm barely paying my power bill. I got rent to pay. I got water to pay. I got car insurance and everything. And to tell you the truth, I'm going to have to let some of my bills go.
Douglas Maynard says the Social Security Administration not only took away his benefits, but is now demanding he pay back what was given to him, which is more than $100,000. He says if it wasn't for his son, his family might be falling apart.
He just got a job recently, you know. He's helping out too. If it wasn't for him helping out, I say me and my wife wouldn't have no food or nothing like that.
Others here say the good news they're now hearing is overdue. Mary Mullins is another former Kahn client who was told she has to pay back the benefits she was given.
You want to know what all you own and stuff, you know. Well, you can't go selling your vehicles or something to you know, give them the money.
And for Mullins, she says the last 4 years have been more difficult considering her husband is also unable to work.
It's just, you know, it's an everyday thing because my husband's disabled too.
With the ending to this mess potentially in sight, some here admit they let their minds go to dark places while the legal battles seem to never end.
At one point, I could understand about the people who did take their own lives. I understand why they thought it would be better.
While that was then, at least for now, people here are starting to feel cautiously optimistic. Congressman Hal Rogers, who has been fighting for the men and women who have had their benefits taken away, gave an official statement today. He says, quote, "It is disheartening that Eric C. Kahn's heartless criminality continues to impact families and individuals in our region, but I am inspired by the tenacity of his victims." And I am inspired by the tenacity of his victims and the pro bono attorneys who are fighting so hard for justice in the courts. Their hard work is paying off with the marked success most recently in the Sixth Circuit. I have requested a briefing directly with the Social Security Administration, and I will continue to advocate for all of the victims in this matter, end quote. A major turn of events in West Virginia, where a man accused of trying to kidnap a 5-year-old girl last night is now out of jail. Prosecutors say the mom who accused him of trying to grab her daughter made the story up. At this point, the charges have not been dropped, but prosecutors are looking at the case. The man accused is from Egypt. His family picked him up tonight, and the man cried while he sat in the car as they drove away. The Egyptian consulate has been in touch with authorities in West Virginia about the incident. It is an unfortunate problem. As the weather warms up and you head out to the park, drug users are leaving behind needles. Officials say it is not common, but it does happen. This should not deter you from visiting your local parks. They say if you find needles, to call 911 or safely pick it up and place it in a plastic bottle, but make sure you secure the lid.
With the top on it, if you can safely pick that up, drop that needle in that bottle, cap it off, take it to your local ambulance service, fire department, or hospital, police department, and they can dispose of it, or just throw it in the trash. If it's in that bottle, it's not going to be able to poke or stick anyone.
There are multiple locations across the county to drop off used needles. Perry County even has its own needle exchange program. It is the new way kids are getting high. Some people cleaning near Pikeville High School found THC oil wrappers. Next, Principal Jason Boer brought some confiscated jewels and dab pens into the local police station. Their canine unit indicated some of the pens actually had the THC oil inside. This sparked Boer to post a video on Facebook showing parents what to look for. He says if teens are filling their vape or dab pens with THC oils, he's afraid it will lead to harder drugs.
If they get liquid meth in these vape pens and kids do it for the first time, they're in trouble for the rest of their life.
These packages usually have colorful cartoons on the front and look completely harmless. Principal Boer says parents should keep an eye on their kids' rooms, cars, and even backpacks.
Overall, a little bit of a warmer day across southern and eastern Kentucky than we've seen the last few days, but guess what? Even warmer weather comes later in the week. Right now, not too warm out there. In fact, it's a little bit on the chilly side. Already down to 38 in Harlan, Middlesboro, 36 in Wise. Now up on the ridge tops, not quite as bad. 46 Jackson, Hazard, Pikeville, 47 Peaburg, 41 into London and Somerset. Our highs today topped out in the mid to upper 50s across most of the region. Tomorrow, we're going to tack about 5 to 10 degrees onto that. Taking a look at satellite and radar across the state, we had a few clouds and a few showers earlier in the day. All that's moved out, and that's leading into clear skies tonight. Now, temperatures will continue to fall generally into the upper 30s, some mid-30s possible in the valleys. However, a little bit of a southwesterly breeze is going to kick in through the overnight. That should prevent the temperatures from falling too far and keep the frost kind of limited down to the valleys and sheltered areas. The headlines for tonight: clear skies, followed by a sunny and mild day tomorrow, and some much warmer weather heading our way for the end of the week. Details in the full forecast here in a few minutes, Justin.
Shane, thank you. Engineers with Tennessee's Department of Transportation announced a probable cause for yesterday's collapse of an overpass guardrail on I-75 in Chattanooga. They're not blaming the physical health of the bridge built in 1959. Instead, they are looking for a truck with a tall load that they believe hit it. It could have happened an hour before the collapse or days, but TDOT is looking for the driver and the company to bill them for the repairs. They say Tennessee saw 50 truck strikes on interstates like this last year. Today is Autism Awareness Day, and many students showed their awareness by wearing the color blue. Kids at Pikeville Elementary School sported blue shirts, bows, and lunchboxes for the Worldwide Day of Recognition. Many say it is important to begin teaching students at a young age about autism. Special education teacher Phyllis Howard says social interaction can help children with autism develop and grow mentally.
These kids are in their classrooms, okay? They're going to be going through school with them. They get to build relationships with them, and one of the big things about autism is social skills.
It is the 12th annual World Autism Awareness Day. Joined by the international community, thousands of landmarks, buildings, homes, and communities around the world light up in blue for recognition of people living with autism. Today, volunteers across the country were recognized for their service. Several counties in southern and eastern Kentucky celebrated their Corporation of National and Community Service volunteers through Save the Children, the foster grandparent program that serves as an in-school reading tutor program.
It feels really good when the kids come up and say, "I appreciate you, I will never forget you, and I love you."
There were close to 60 volunteers recognized by local officials throughout our region. The Appalachian Wildlife Foundation announced new plans to expand their wildlife reserve in Bell County. CEO David Ledford says additions to the reserve will include nature trails, a new 8,000 square foot visitor center, museums, and an open-air petting zoo. Ledford says the reserve is expected to attract 850,000 visitors each year.
The mission of this place is education, wildlife conservation, those types of things.
The Appalachian Wildlife Center is scheduled to open in the summer of 2021. A small church in Floyd County still makes a large impact in their community. WYMT's Lauren McCourt sat down with the pastor to see how a bump in the road did not stop them from continuing their mission.
The St. James Episcopal Church may be small.
If everybody came to church every Sunday, we'd have about 20.
But the work they continue to do is massive.
Last year, we served over 5,000 people.
When the number of members at St. James decreased, they could not afford to stay in the building they once called home.
Throughout the years, the membership declined to the point where we needed to move to a smaller space.
Serving others has always been one of their main missions.
Jesus said to feed the hungry, and that's what we try to do.
And just because they had to give up their building did not mean they had to give up their community service.
We would be less of who we are if we did that.
So, not only did they find a way to keep their food pantry open.
It's overwhelming. It's a good thing we do, and I'm pleased to be here to to get to do it.
They even managed to keep their soup kitchen and start a thrift store.
People donate money there, and then we sell the items. Most of the time it's barter.
A lot of their volunteers are not even members of their church, just people wanting to lend a helping hand.
A number of our volunteers at one time were participants.
Helping others because they know what it's like to be in their place. In Floyd County, Lauren McCourt, WYMT Mountain News.
If you would like to make a donation to the pantry, you can visit our website, WYMT.com, for more details. Coming up at 11.